there was a time that I felt disconnected from my babe. And I was just tired of her.
At this point, it's like the old pastors worldwide, they sat down and they were like, you know what? How can we humiliate our wives and still get away with it? And they were like, you know what? Let's go and talk about our story online and say some things that does not make sense. Because this old trend of pastors and their wives coming to podcasts and sharing their life story, I was even thinking it was just in the Dear Future Wifey podcast until I saw one trending in Nigeria where the pastor is saying that he was no longer attracted or he was no longer feeling his wife anymore. Anytime she touch him, she doesn't, or he doesn't feel it. Let me show you all the video, then we'll come back and talk about it.
I know you'll be shocked to hear this, but I was just tired. I was just fed up. As in, she wasn't appealing to me anymore. She wasn't attractive. And I became overwhelmed. Like she touches me, I'm touchy. Like she was even the one asking for sex at that time, and I was not available. I was just getting any little thing. I was not excited anymore, and I don't know what was happening. So I had to go to a mentor to talk to her about it. That I don't know what is happening, but I get angry easily. I get emotional. I mean, I just become defensive. I'm not just attracted to her, as it were. And we've not had, of course, when I fast, we don't have sex, but this one, there's no fasting, and I've not been able to even come close to my wife for a while. I was just disconnected from her, and I was not really feeling it anymore. But I went to a mentor, and a mentor spoke to her. A mentor apologized on her behalf. Our mentor said that she was going to talk to her. So our mentor called her for a meeting. I don't know what they discussed. And then the next evening, we were going out, and my wife requested that I allow her drive. And then she drove the car and drove me to an hotel. And I got there. She said, we're going to see somebody. And then we're going. I was like, who are we going to see? And I entered the room. I saw roses on the floor, roses on the bed. I saw table set before me, a lot of different kinds of dishes. And I'm like, what's this? What's happening here? She said, I made all this for you. And I'm like, wow. I sat down, I started eating. I was eating this. Before I finished it, I said, send me your account number. I transferred money to her, something heavy immediately, and then all the love that died, the love came back.
I really don't get when he said he spoke to a mentor and the mentor apologized to him. Apologize to you that you're not attracted to your wife anymore. Why? So definitely it's your wife's fault that you're no longer attracted to her. So now it's your wife that's supposed to do something about it. What is wrong with these people? And the difference between these other podcasts is that you can see that the woman, she's very ashamed. She's very disappointed. She's very sad. In fact, she was almost covering her face because she was uncomfortable with the conversation he was having. But you can see him, saying it with so much joy and pride and ego. Like, there was a time that she was the one begging me for smack. She was begging. In fact, I don't want it until she decorated the whole hotel room. Then I had to give it to her. You guys, what's your take on this? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I have your reaction on this video. Let's go and watch the stitches together. Then we'll come back and discuss.
That I felt disconnected from.
Pastor, you are an ugly man. You are very ugly. Your wife is the one that is actually doing you a favor. Before you be sitting down there and you are saying you were disconnected. You were disconnected from a goddess. Blame the woman. She brought herself down to your level and picked you. and you have the audacity to be feeling disconnected from a goddess. That woman is more beautiful than you. If she goes out to the people that, what are you disconnected from? You reported her to her mentor because you are the one feeling disconnected. You are the one still reporting her to the mentor so that she will what do something, and she's the one that picked the hotel. You want someone to cuddle you, baby boy. That's what you want. And your wife body language says it all. Like she's ashamed of you. See the way she's leaning away from you. Why would you bring something as intimate as this to social media? Like you want to tell the whole world that you felt disconnected from your wife, blah blah blah, all the talk. How is it her problem? Because the story is not complete. Why would you be disconnected from a goddess like that? She's beautiful than you, my dear. She's doing you a favor. Because you know that if you did not have money, nobody's going to pick you. You know that. She without money, men would die to be at her feet. Is she not the mother of your children? Look at what you're saying about the mother of your children in a public space. Reporting the mother of your children to a mentor so that she will. Or are you sure there's something you did to her that made the whole disconnection happen? Because the way she's looking at you with irritation, she's irritated at you, pastor. And according to Billie Eilish, when you give an ugly man a chance, he thinks he rules the world. And these are your pastors. This is the marriage of Christ. Publicly embarrassing you are not embarrassing that woman. It's yourself you're embarrassing. And then the women in the comment section say, "Thank you, pastor." You people will not have sense. You people will not have sense. This entire thing reminds me of one public speaker called Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro came out to say that his wife does not get wet. That except he did not know that the reason why his wife did not get wet was because she was not feeling him. There's no woman that doesn't get wet. She didn't like you enough to get wet. So he was there boasting about it. He didn't know that it was because he was inadequate. You see, we are boasting that disconnection is because you are the problem. So what is it? Well, what is all this thing? You go and talk to a marriage therapist. We are not your counselors, please.
Please watch this video.
There was a time that I felt disconnected from my babe, and I was just tired of her. I know you'll be shocked to hear this, but I was just tired. I was just fed up. As in, she wasn't appealing to me anymore. She wasn't attractive, and I became overwhelmed. Like she touches me, I'm touchy. Like she was even the one asking for sex at that time, and I was not available. I went to her mentor, and our mentor spoke to her. Our mentor apologized on her behalf. Our mentor said that she was going to talk to her. So our mentor called her for a meeting. I don't know what they discussed. And then the next evening, we were going out, and my wife requested that I allow her drive. And then she drove the car and drove me to an hotel. And I got there. She said, "We're going to see somebody." And then we're going. I was like, "Who are we going to see?" And I entered the room. I saw roses on the floor, roses on the bed. I saw table set before me, a lot of, different kinds of dishes.
First, take a look at the body language of the woman. You can see how uncomfortable she looked, especially when the man mentioned that he got to a point that she was the one asking for intimacy. See, I don't know what is happening in Christendom, but this recent trend of pastors coming on social media with their wives to discuss their personal issues, I think is becoming tiring, and maybe someone needs to advise them, because some things are best left out of public space. Some things are best left private. I understand you want to gist and make it real and all of that. While keeping it real, draw boundaries. There's certain things you don't bring out to the public. You could see by the woman's body language that she was uncomfortable with that information coming out. Did you check with your wife before coming for this program? Did you even tell her you were going to say those things? These are the issues. She was uncomfortable, and you could tell. I think that this recent trend is fueled by men who need their egos to be massaged. Because in all of the cases, it's always the man trying to, feel good about themselves. Look at the man, the way the man was talking, feeling happy with glee, discussing personal issues, and making it look like, oh, I'm above her standard, and sometimes I don't even get attracted to her. She's the one that comes to me. Look at the way it subtly puts down the woman. Look at how happy and excited he was telling that story. Look at the woman's expression. Look at how sad and subdued she was, listening to her dirty linens being washed outside, all in the name of keeping it real. I think we should begin to keep some things inside, because it's outside now that some of us are going to have to analyze what is going on in your marriage. Now, let's start with the most obvious problem. You have a problem with your wife, an intimacy problem with your wife, and you could not call your wife and discuss it with her. You you could not communicate with her. You had to go to a third party, because there was nowhere in the story that I said, oh, after talking with her about it, he said, I went to talk to her mentor. So you could not communicate with her. You have a serious communication issue. If you have something that personal going on and the first person you think of talking to is her mentor, you have a serious communication issue. Which brings us to the next step. There's a serious mentality flaw. So you are feeling unattracted to your wife. She doesn't appeal to you anymore. So you don't even get to have intercourse with her anymore. And and you went to see a mentor. Actually, you went to report her to a mentor, because don't you have a mentor? Why did you not go and see your own mentor and say, Oga, I'm going through this and I don't understand and it's affecting our intimacy. Even my wife is feeling this way. Has it happened to you before? How did you handle it? How can you help me? You did not go to your own mentor. Why? Because you did not see it as your own problem. It is automatically your wife's problem. See, and that is the mentality in a lot of marriages. It is not all, usually, this is the woman that has to bear the brunt of fixing it. It is the woman that has to take the responsibility of fixing it, even when she's not responsible for the problem. You are the one having the issue. You are the one struggling with finding your wife attractive. But guess who you went to report? Your wife, to her mentor. That's, can you help me talk to her? Something is wrong. So if something is wrong, you cannot fix it. Something is wrong with you. You had to go and report your wife because she has to be the cause. So now her mentor now goes to her and say, do this to, make yourself more attractive to your husband. And you did not think that that is what you should have done. If you realize that, I would expect that if you realize that there's no intimacy anymore between you and your wife, you should analyze the situation, put yourself to task, ask yourself, where did it go wrong? What happened? It didn't used to be like this before. She used to make my heart beat. What happened was, is it that she stopped dressing well? Is it that she started smelling of house? Is it that she's unkempt? Is it her attitude? Did you sit down to analyze what was really going on and to see if you can, pinpoint the problem? Instead, you went to report to her mentor. You don't want to do the hard work in marriage. You want to push it to the woman. And you could have analyzed that and said, okay, you know what, let me just first of all change her wardrobe. Let me take her to the spa. Let me get her hair done. Let me get her some sexy lingerie, some sexy dinner dresses. Let me take her to dinner. Let me court her again. Let me book that hotel that she booked for you. You could have been the one doing that and, having an intimate, romantic night out together. You didn't want to do all of that. You just passed the baton straight on to your wife through her mentor, who now went to school and said, do this. You need to do better, men. The responsibility of fixing the home is not solely the woman's. And finally, ladies, this is another evidence that your pastor is not your married counselor. Most of your pastors are struggling in their own marriages too. Their wives are seeing married counselors. And your pastor, Mrs., is also not your married counselor. Go and seek a professional. Your pastor is also struggling. He has issues, serious issues, as you can see. The problem I have with this now is that they would before they came out on social media to do this, they had already done it in their church. And they've told married couples, they've told singles that this is how to go about it. And all the burden of fixing the marriage, is shifted on the woman. The man will get home and say, did you hear, pastor? So you have to do this for me. Or even if he doesn't say it, he will begin to expect it, because that is what their pastor does. Your pastor is not your married counselor. Go and see a married counselor if you're having issues. They are also having issues. Bye.
There was a time that I felt disconnected from my babe, and I was just tired of her. I know you'll be shocked to hear this, but I was just tired. I was just fed up. As in, she wasn't appealing to me anymore. She wasn't attractive, and I became overwhelmed. Like, she touches me, I'm touching. Like, she was even the one asking for sex at that time, and I wasn't available. I was just getting any little thing. I was not excited anymore, and I don't know what was happening. So I had to.
It's always the men that look like orangutans that are always saying this kind of shit. I don't know if you've noticed that, but whenever you hear a man talk about his wife no longer looks attractive to him, It is usually those ones that look like chimpanzees or melted candle wax. And yes, if you've seen them before, this is the same guy that persuaded his wife to go on a trip with him when she had an exam in just a few hours. This is the same pastor that told him that told us that the Holy Spirit told him that he was being cruel to his wife. This guy needed the Holy Spirit to tell him that he was being cruel to his wife. He couldn't figure that out. But somehow he knew that she wasn't attractive. See, if you're a woman that falls for all this kind of nonsense, just cut it out, my dear. You are not only attractive, you are beautiful. I don't care if after having babies, your tummy hangs on the floor. I don't care if you have to lift up your boobs to wash your vajayjay. Like, I don't care. You are attractive and you are beautiful. The problem is that you are married to a nincompoop, a complete idiot. So if he doesn't find you attractive, just let him fly away. Let him go find someone he finds attractive and kick him the hell out of your life.
One very big excuse that these married men use to justify their cheating is I am no longer, or my wife is no longer attractive anymore. And when you sit down and think about the attraction they are talking about, it could be that she added weight because of children, having children, rearing children for them, for the man. Okay. It could be like she has her body figure has changed, or she doesn't even have time to take care of herself anymore because she's doing everything that is not doing. She's taking care of the children, she's taking care of the house, she has to do a maid job. Like she has to do so many things and she doesn't even have time to take care of herself. So that is excuse for this man to be like, look at my wife. She's no longer the way I married her. I married her when she was skinny. Now she's so big. And I know I'm no longer attracted to her because she's big and all of that. These are the excuses that these men usually do, that when they now eventually cheat on you, they would blame you, and society will also blame you and say, even you say, look at you as a woman. You're supposed to take care of yourself. You're not supposed to look at yourself and be fat like that. To start blaming the woman and saying that you are the cause that your man went outside to cheat because of the way you look. You have a problem with your SMEX life and you never for once communicated with your partner about it. You have to go and talk to our mentor, and you now waited that for your mentor to talk to her. What's going on? You guys, you know that if it was actually the other way, maybe it's the woman that is saying this testimony and she's like, there was a time that when my man touches me, I don't feel good, I don't feel him, I don't do this, I don't do that. Do you know that at the end of the whole testimony, you see that it's still the woman that will work so hard to make this makes life better. You see the woman that would start saying that, oh, then I started wearing some lingerie, I started doing this also. You just start looking for something sha. It will still be the woman that will work hard for that smith's life to come back, or for the spark to come back again. So you needed to be treated like a princess before you can get your Smeg's life back, because that's what it means. Until they treated you like a princess, that is when you now forgot that she was no longer attractive. Now she's not attractive to you. That's what it means. I really don't know how these pastors, all of them, just come together and do a community meeting and be like, you know what, let us start humiliating our wives online on podcasts by giving testimony. I don't know who came up with all of that, but the thing is not like a trend now. It's not a trend that they have to come out and say it. And the thing is, they're not saying anything in it. It's more or less like there's nothing wrong in it. So that's why they are confident to come and say it. And to think that these people are leading a huge congregation and advising, sometimes they are even marriage counselor to people. Imagine their own kind of marriage and how are they counseling other people marriages. Anyway, you guys, what's your take on this video? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Respectfully, as always, it's your girl Mariah David, and thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please like and share and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.